Hello everyone, this is Teacher Wayne and I'm continuing my Unity 2018 series on a zombie survival game. This time I'm looking at zombie behavior. I'm going to be doing quite a few videos just on the zombie behavior. In this one in particular, I'm just going to focus just on the setup, just to get the prerequisites done for this, and then in other videos I'm going to be looking at animation, at scripting, and getting it so that you can follow the player. Okay, so in the last video we had a 3D environment. We got the player on there. We're giving them some simple scripts. We've been working at the I'm going to be showing that shortly to you. We've got the player moving around. If I press play, the character moving around and the mouse could move up and down. I'm using the WASD keys. So really straightforward setup so far. Right, okay, now what we want to do is we want to add a zombie. So I'm going to go into the game. I'm going to go to the assets, go to imported assets and zombie, and if I go to prefabs, you find the little zombie character. I'm just going to drag and drop him onto the scene. And there he is in all his glory. He's got nothing much happening with him. He's just stood in a standard T-pace pose, and if I press play, you would just... oh, there he is. He's doing a default walking animation, and that's his attack animation, and that's the fall down animation. Now, obviously, he's just cycling through all these things, because what he's doing is using the default animation. Now if I just remove that, set that to none, and press play again, he'll be just stood in his T-pose. Where's he gone? Oh, there he is. He's in his T-pose. He's not animated at all. So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to get the animation working. You saw a brief look at the walk and the attack animation and what's known as the fall down state. These are all the different little states that was kindly provided. Look, we've got attack here, we've got fall back, we've got idle, and we've got walk and walk in place, where he just sort of walks on the spot, so to speak, and that's what's known as the animation controller. We'll be looking at all that later on. So let's go back to our game. The first thing we're going to do with this character is we're going to create a prefab. So we go to prefabs, we drag the zombie and we drag him down here. And the purpose of a prefab is that we're going to be using... I'm just going to get rid of all these errors for a moment. They're not errors, they're just warnings. One of the things I want to do, we're going to do later, is we're going to have lots of these zombies spawn over the place to engage with the player. So we need to create prefabs in order to do that. So I'll create this prefab folder and drag them in here. And if you look at the character on the screen, we've got this new button called apply here. This is prefab apply. If I click apply, it applies any changes to the zombie down here. And I'm going to grab the player and I'm going to create a prefab of the player as well. And as if you notice, they've got this funny blue, they've got a blue colour. That means that they've been prefabbed. These are the originals. It's just things that you just learn as you go along. Anyway, so I click on the zombie here. We're going to give him a way of interacting with the environment. In order to that, if you look, we've got a transform, we've got an animator, we're going to need that, but we're also going to need a capsule collider. So if you type in CA, and there you are, capsule collider. Click on the zombie again. Oh, in play mode, sorry. I was going to be in scene mode. Play mode. I did all that in play mode. If you do things in play mode, not much happens. So it's very important not to come out of game. I was in game. I was in play mode. I'll go back to scene. I'm just actually moving away from the player a bit. It's getting a bit close. I'm going to add capsule collider. Bang. Now can you see? Is this thing's appeared right down there? So what we do to do that is we set that to 0.5. Let's set it to 1. And we set the height to 2. There you are. And that actually looks more like a capsule that's around the zombie. And if we click triggered, allows us it's going to be useful to have that later on, so because when it'll trigger if the player can see this little blue, this green sort of capsule wireframe image around him. If the player character gets within this range, that is triggered event triggers, and we want the player to get damaged, and we'll also trigger an attack animation sequence in this as well when it gets to that. Now as you can see, that's quite close, so you'd have to be really close before that is triggered, is set. So we might want to play about with that. There's other ways of doing this which I'll show you later. But there's the player. Looks like we look like a capsule, but when we're playing in first person, we're not going to see that because our camera's in there. Notice something as well. If you look here, can you see the camera is halfway through the body? So I'm just going to click here, and I'm just going to move the camera up to our head, move it up to sort of the front, move it to where you'd expect a head to be on a human body, sort of up there somewhere. If you look, that's how high it is. Now let's press play. Look, we're a bit high. We're higher than the zombie. That's alright, I'll leave it as that. It's nice to be a little bit higher than them. So I'm looking above his head. Right. Zombie, right, okay. Now we've applied the capsule collider, another thing we want to do is we want to apply it. And as we apply this here, what happens, it'll update the prefab. So any changes you make, if I click there, oh, it didn't work. Zombie. Apply. Was it not updating it? That's very strange. I'll have to look at that later. We've got to apply for the player as well. Is it updating the... If I just put him back a bit, changing his Z to that, 257. It's not updating it. I don't know why it's doing that. I'll have a look at that later. Something that's not quite right, but we'll figure that out as we go along. So anyway, this is Teacher Wayne. This is the initial sort of setup. We're going to now, after this, we're going to look at some of the other elements within the game. We're going to look at some script, and we're going to look at the actual animation. So this is Teacher Wayne saying goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.